I think it's funny how, yeah, like how I just started. I didn't even introduce myself. Y'all know who I am. Y'all better. Anyway, isn't it funny how our children can become our teachers? Yesterday, my son and I had, well, he brought something to my attention, and it made me pause and reflect on what he was really trying to say. Now, the conversation itself, so he was like, Mom, he was like, why, when I was 5 years old, you wouldn't tell me where babies came from? Now, he's okay. This boy, 28, 29 years old, I don't know how old he is for real, is one of them. But he's a thinker, he's a logical thinker, he's a Gemini. Um, and he just basically was like, it came out of nowhere, first of all, because I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, see, you never want to answer any of my questions and this and that. I'm like, well, okay, come on, come on, what are you talking about? So he was like, when I was 5 years old, when I asked you where babies came from, he was like, you didn't take it serious. They said, you told me that they came from beans. Babies came from poking beans or something like that. And I laughed because I know I probably said that ish for real. I said it. I did. And so I laughed, but he wasn't laughing. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's funny, right? He's like, I just think that um, that's how black families are, or that's how your mama was. He went there. He was like, your mom wouldn't explain stuff to you, and you feel like you don't have to explain. I don't know what happened before you made this call to me, but you ain't gonna take it out on me, right? So I listened to him, and I stopped and I paused because it wasn't the fact that he was talking about me telling him, because okay, it wasn't the fact that he was telling me that I lied about the poking beans. Um, it was the fact that he felt like I didn't listen to him, and that I didn't think of his question as important enough to answer it correctly. And so I'm big on accountability, and that was his perspective, right? Even though at that time I didn't think that it was important, he brought something to my attention, and from his perspective, I didn't take his question seriously. So I had to stop and I had to just listen to him, actually listen to him. And I apologized to him for not taking. I was like, well, you was 5 years old, and I didn't know how to explain to you that babies come out of a vagina. Okay? Because then you're going to ask, what's a vagina? And I'm not finna show you what a vagina is at 5. So, poking beans it is. Okay? It came out of a can of poking beans. Like, it worked until you started telling your friends that. Anyway, so I apologized to him, and I told him that at that particular time, I thought that I was um, doing the right thing because he was 5. I didn't think he would understand vaginas and all that. Um, but again, I apologized to him, and I told him that I'm not perfect. I wasn't perfect as I tried to be, but I wasn't. And that I'm still growing, and that I want him to be able to come to me and talk to me about anything, and me to look at it not as him coming at me to attack me in any kind of way, but just to look at things from his perspective. And the reason why that was so important to me is because he's another person that's coming to me with his own perspective, his own opinion about something. He's coming to me about something that was important to him. And that's important, to be able to look at somebody else's perspective and explain it. Just be honest. Be honest, be transparent, be open. And if I don't have the answers, I just don't have the answers. If I didn't know any better at that time, I didn't know that any better at that time. But I think about when I do get married again, or when I do get into a relationship again, it's not going to be all about me and what I think, and the other person's perspective I might not agree with, but it's still their perspective on the situation. So it's better for me to learn now to understand where somebody else is coming from and explain, how can I say it? To be able to communicate effectively, even if I don't agree or I don't understand where they're coming from. Trying to, I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't get it all out. But I thought that it turned really, really deep after we got over the whole pork and beans. Is it pork and beans? Pork and beans or poke and beans? Because it depends on where you at. My mom is country, so she said pork and beans. Pork and beans. I don't know why I kept saying that. But I'm glad that we had the conversation. I think that after we finished talking, that I allowed him to see a different aspect of myself, or a different part of me, because normally I wouldn't have answered the question like that or try to be more understanding. So that lets me know also that I am growing and maturing and holding myself accountable to something that I may have done wrong without getting offensive. Or because one thing that I never want to do is make it to where it's uncomfortable for someone to come and talk to me about anything. I try my best not to be judgmental at all. I always say I don't judge. I'm not judging you. You come to me with something, I won't judge you. I won't even give you my opinion unless you ask for it. But he taught me something about myself. He taught me that I've grown. He taught me that I've matured, and that my communication skills is getting better. And he said that I handled that a whole lot better than he thought I would. And he appreciated my response. So, and I'm very outspoken. He's very outspoken. So I trust, if he says that I handled that correctly, I handled that correctly. So if you're watching this, Xavier, thank you. I needed that more than you knew. Nope, that's not the right word. I needed that more than you could have known. We're gonna stick with that one. But anyway, that was it. I just wanted to share, and I wanted to say thank you to my big head. Until next time, kisses.